So someone asked me yesterday, I posted a workout video and it was explaining how I structure my workouts and how I break them down and why I train the way that I do. Now, this person said to me, can you break it down even further? So I went to the gym today and that's what I've done. Now, if what you want is just literally what exercise did I do, how many sets, how many reps, I'll put that in the description. But what I'm going to do, just for a few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exercises, talk a little bit about why they're there, talk a little bit about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So I'm going to have a go, I'm going to watch it on my iPad and I'm going to splice this video all together and see how it goes. So we had 5 exercises today and this is week 3. So in the earlier video I talked about weeks 1 and 2, you learn the workout, you have some reps in reserve. Weeks 3 and 4, you start to nudge the weights up or jump the weights up so that you're at least hitting failure or 0 reps in reserve by the last set. Ideally, you've got 1 or 2 in reserve and then the last set, you've got nothing left. Because then in weeks 5 and 6, the plan is all out, nothing left in the tank for any set. So every set of every exercise taken to failure. This is a week 3 workout, heading into week 4. So you'll see I'm going to do some stuff. I'm going to start taking it to failure. I'm going to start assisting myself, especially on the first exercise we see. And I'll leave a few in the tank here and there, and then I'll talk about what happened as well, because I've filmed 1 set of every exercise. But we did more than that. So to find out what we did, look in the description. I'm just going to talk through the exercises as though I was coaching someone, in this case me. So let's have a look at the video. So in this first video, I'm doing hamstring curls. I'm going for 10 to 12. I'm being pretty strict with the squeeze. There's a brief pause. I'm using a weight that challenges me, but that I can still get the full range of motion on. And you see it starts to get hard and I'm contemplating how many will I get. And then I realise soon I'm not quite getting that last little squeeze. So there I go, I'm flicking the handle. So I'm just giving it a little bit extra help and then I let go. I still control it. I still control it on the way back up. All right, so I'm giving it a little flick and just see that little flick there. I'm pushing it and then I let go and I let my legs fight the weight on the way back. So I've got 10 and then I had 2 more and I fought those ones back. So that's a good example of I needed to get 10 to 12. I could get 12, but I had to help myself. All right, so that's what we're doing in that exercise. That one's in there to warm the hamstrings up, ready for what comes next. And before this, we did a little warm up. I didn't film that. So the next exercise is hack squat. Now, in the gym I use, if I'm not in I'm in the commercial gym today. If I'm not in the garage, I use this gym. And quite often people loop. You can see an orange band down there. They loop this huge band around it, and then they put so much weight on it, but the band's taking most of the work. Now, bands do have a place, but what I think you should do is train yourself close to failure, then use the band to take you beyond, or let you lift a weight you've never lifted before. So let's say I can't do more than, I don't know, this is 120 at the moment. Say I couldn't do more than 120, I might put 150 on, but I'd put the band on. And then what would happen is I've got to unrack the 150. I start the move, but as I start the move, the band stretches and helps me out of the bottom. And as I get back to the top, the band's not stretching again. So it's helping me out the bottom, but I've still got to do some work. But I haven't put the band on, it's separate. So this is 120. This was the first set. So we were going to do 3 sets, I think. 2 sets of 6, so heavy, 1 set of 10. I did this weight, so we'll watch it. And I went, I've got probably another 4 in the tank there. So this is the 10 weight, not the 6 weight. I haven't done these much lately. Notice as well that I'm taking my hips below the knees. Yes, I'm breaking parallel. The good thing about the hack squat is you can really put your feet up high. You can break parallel. I'm almost kissing the safeties. All right, you can see that I'm almost kissing the safeties there. That tells me I'm getting the depth. The only way to get deeper is to lift my feet up higher, but then I struggle to get it out of the rack. This machine's not very kind to shorties. So this is 120. Then I decided to do 140. and I ground out 6 of those. Maybe I could have got 7. Then I came back to 120 and got 10. And I think I probably had 1 more in reserve. So what that tells me is week 4, yeah, if I got 6 at 140, I'm going to start week 4 at least 150. We need to be bold in weeks 3 and 4 to hit failure, so we know that 5 and 6 are all out. So I would probably go 150, try and get 5 or 6. If I got 6, I might even sneak it up again. If I got 5 and I didn't quite get the 6, I'd probably stick at 150 and try again. So it's about pushing your limits. Yeah, where can I get to, especially ready for week 5 and 6. So you see that set. I had a little brief pause there just for a breath, but I got it with no real effort. I could have got some more out of that. Then, as if we didn't do enough quads then, we're going to come over to the leg extensions. We're going to do some volume. So we did multiple sets of 10 to 12, I think. And then the last set has a drop set as well. So we take the weight down and we drop it a little bit. So I think this was 72 and a half, 70. No, I started on 70, then I went 72 and a half, and then I pushed it to 75. And then the drop set went from 75, did as many as I could. Then I went to 65, did as many as I could. So let's have a look at this. I'm holding on to the pads. I'm trying to get a brief pause and a good squeeze at the top. Really, this is to get as much blood into the muscles as possible. Really push them hard, pump them up. I'm contemplating my life choices at this point. Notice there's the handles again, so I can, if I need to, pull on the handle, or if you had a spotter could help you lift it up. I'm keeping my toes. My toes are pointing up to the sky, so I'm almost pulling my toes towards me using my shins to make sure I'm really hitting those quads. All right, and it's pretty strict. It's pretty strict. It's pretty challenging after those hack squats. Lots of grimacing. If someone's grimacing and they're grunting and they're going, yeah, they're working. If you can do the whole set talking and you're not making funny noises and faces, you need to work harder. So it's not just about the exercise. It's not just about how many reps and sets do I do. It's how you do the work. That's the key. And you can't go all out every week, 6 weeks in a row, but you can ramp it up and then have a good few weeks where you max it out. Then we come back down and we do it again. All right, so you're not seeing any rest pauses really in here. You just saw a little bit of me assisting myself. So when I did that, let's just think about how you'd write that down. I would write down, so if I got 10, I'd put 10, and then I'd write how many reps in reserve next to it, because that helps me know how hard it was for next week. So I might put 10 with 2 in reserve. So that hack squat, the first one, 120 kilos, I got 6, and I reckon I could have got 4 more. Maybe even more. So then I know I've got to push harder. If I helped myself, so in that first exercise, I helped with 2 reps, I would write that as 10 plus 2. So the plus tells me either I assisted myself or a spotter assisted me to get those 2 reps. And then the progression might be, keep the weight the same, try and lose the plus. So try and get the 12 or get 11 plus 1, then 12. Or I could have rested and gone 10, quick rest, try and get 2 more. So that's what's going to help you. So 10 rest, I would put 10 R2. If I helped or got spotted, 10 plus 2. I don't think there's anything else that I would write. If I'm writing in a book, which I do a lot, old school, I'll write notes. I'll also put like, how did I feel? How have I fueled? How am I hydrated? All that sort of stuff. Okay, so then we're on to calves, seated calves. So I'm holding on, but I'm not really pulling at this point. I'm trying to get a good squeeze, good extension at the bottom, most of the squeeze up to the top. Then you'll see I go for the handle in a second and I just give it a little bit of help. I'm not writing that as a plus because I'm not really pulling on it. It's just a little gentle go. And then I'm on the handle, I'm ready. Yeah, because I know the next one's going to be it. So there you go, get the handle in. So there's not a lot to say in there. It's nice and slow. It's controlled. You could maybe put a little bit more of a pause at the top. In the earlier weeks, I would say there's a lot more focus on form. This is week 3 into 4. That's not to say that there's no focus on form. I'm still focusing hard on form. But if you are a complete form, I don't know, you're just obsessed with form, you're going to miss out on some gains. That doesn't mean have horrible form. What that means is if 80% of your workout has good form and it's just the last few reps of the last few sets that break down, then you're starting to push. Then you're starting to push it. Okay? So my style of training is to shift the weight, but do it as safely as I can. If you're bodybuilding, perfectly bodybuilding, maybe you argue that you really want to nail down the form, but you watch those old videos of Arnie and Ronnie Coleman and stuff, they're just smashing the weight, aren't they? They're just smashing it. So do it well enough to not hurt yourself, but also don't hold yourself back from gains. And then the last exercise is a functional one. So I'm going on holiday soon and I've got to go, it'll come up in a second. I've got to go on holiday. I've got to go with a 5-year-old on my own. So I'm going to be carrying my luggage, maybe on my back, maybe a bag on my front. Hopefully she'll wander on next to me with her bag, but if not, I might have a tired child on me and a bit of luggage. So I've been doing sandbag holds. I'm doing these unilateral farmers walks, doing 40 meters 3 times. I started on 25 and then I went up to 30. Trying not to have too much lean, because if you're just leaning, you're not actually working the muscle. I was trying to focus on squeezing the obliques and trying to be as level as I could. So it's not bad. I've got my hand there just to cue in. Am I really squeezing that oblique? And the hand comes out for balance a little bit. Let's watch it come back. And then this is the end of the workout. So we did, I think, 3 sets of these. There's not much for lean. There's a little bit, but I could go much heavier, but I'd be leaning right over. So I hope that gives you an idea about, not just the other video talks about the structure. This one talks more about how you actually achieve it and focuses on one. So if you go back and then look at some of my older videos, I think I did a pull video I used to do them in real time for about an hour and a half. Now I sort of do one set of each, one set from each exercise. Hopefully you'll see, if you watch those, I practice what I preach. This is the way I've been training for years. All right. I'd love to know what you think to the video. I'd love to know if you've got any comments on, if you think I'm talking rubbish. I'd love to know your favourite exercises, just like a conversation really. So yeah, hit me up in the comments.